Hey, good afternoon, everybody. November the 18th, 2025. We got 12:04. Just past the noon hour here. We got about 42 degrees, about the same temperature as it was this morning, but at least it stopped raining. So there's the Carbide and Carbon here. We're on Michigan Avenue. We'll cross Water Street. So, you know, I actually made a call to the Harold Washington Library Center there. I said, is the Winter Garden open today? And I appreciate the nice librarian there. First she thought it was open, but thankfully she called me back. She says, no, it's closed today for an event. She said it might be open tomorrow. So we might give the Harold Washington Library a try tomorrow. I'll be sure to use their Wi-Fi if I go there tomorrow, because like a dummy in times past, I didn't use their Wi-Fi and I lost my connection. I could have just like used their Wi-Fi, so we'll give that a try. But here, we'll head around here. Here's Water Street. You see how it goes through the lower level there. We were there. See, sometimes, you know, you can walk the pedway as above there, connects the whole Illinois Center. These are the two designed by Mies van der Rohe. They built those out. They built those later in the 80s after he had passed. This one was built as early as 1970, probably at the same time as the IBM building. But it was planned, this whole development was planned. It took them until the late 80s to build that out. It took me a long time to figure that out too. Hey Anita, how you doing there? Wayne? And really, Julie Reed, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing okay. Eminem, Aisha, G, Krista, Chris. So you see how you can connect to the pedway. So I've got videos where we walk through the pedway. The security's there during the day. Well, they're there 24/7. They don't like live streamers because that's corporate space. And it's mainly they're just worried about people, you know, sleeping in there and vagrants and things like that. So, but we'll see if they're okay with me up here on this plaza here. They call this Illinois Center. I think Wolf Architects, I think he has an office in this building. They did the landscape architecture for this. It's nice because you get a nice view looking up Michigan Avenue this way. We've done this. This actually might be a good place to view the fireworks for when they do the Michigan Avenue lights there on Saturday. I just thought of that. I don't know if I'll be able to, after the parade, somehow get around over here for the fireworks. I've tried it from the bridges and I lose my connection. But hey, Anita there. There's see, Krista, Aisha, Scott. Yeah, Prince. Yeah. Heather B. Hey, thanks everybody. How you doing, MM? Yeah, so you see this? This is behind. See, there's Michigan Avenue's that way. There's the old Republic building. This is the back of the 333 North Michigan. It almost doesn't look like it until you look on the side there. See, there's this view to the Wrigley and the Tribune. And look at the wind. Yeah, the wind was really strong this morning. But look at, yeah, this might be a good spot to view the fireworks because they'll have the stage there. See, there's the Apple Store, the Tribune, the Wrigley. Look at the relief there, the 333 North Michigan. There's panels there. They get the circular windows. Blackhawk Store, Fannie Mae. But here, let's head around here. We'll go back. What I'm probably going to do is we'll head into Lakeshore East, and then I'll circle back by Maggie Daly Ice Skating Ribbon. I thought about walking along the Riverwalk today, but it's cold and clammy and windy. I don't think there's going to be many architectural tour boats out, or if they are, there won't be many people on it. So maybe there'll be some people skating at the Maggie Daly Ice Skating Ribbon, and then we'll end it up in Millennium Park. If we got any extra time, I'll go into the Cultural Center. Maybe we'll look at some of the exhibits there and get warmed up. But yeah, 42 degrees here in Chicago, and we'll head around here. Yeah, I got videos on O-Block. You can check out my reruns. I know you're not going to do it there, Mark. You can check out my reruns of 63rd Parkway Gardens. I rode under the green line there. I think you're just making cheap comments there about how, you know, it was considered the most dangerous block in Chicago. That was 15 years ago. Of course, Odie Perry, and we filmed the King Von mural. If you brought up O Block, please check out my video and pay your respects to King Von there, who died in, what, Atlanta, or, you know, what, didn't even die in Chicago, the drill hip-hop community there. People bring up O Block, and they do it so nonchalantly when people died. And do you care about the drill hip-hop community, or you just care about making cheap shots against Chicago? Maybe you really do care about O Block. If you care about the people of Parkway Gardens there, please respect their wishes. They don't like live streamers like me going down there and exploiting it. Even when they told Speed not to go down there, they said it would be a distraction. And thanks for tuning in here. I see Speed. He has like millions of followers. They told him not to go there. And he respected their wishes because he actually cares about the people in Parkway Gardens, which you call O Block. Thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago. We're going to head around Lakeshore East. I'm on my lunch break from work. I have a day job where I'm taking off some of my lunchtime to stream here. And if you're just going to sit and heckle me, we will block you. So hey, how you doing here? Yeah. Thanks everybody here. And New York City's tuning in there. Muhammad, how you doing there? Dre. Yeah. What's going on here? So here's some of the empty. See, there's the mural to Hazel Johnson. That's Mr. Super A. He's from the Netherlands. They did that mural on the side of the Prudential building. See how you can see the lower, middle level, upper level. We were on lower Wacker this morning when it was raining. There's the Aon building. Here we'll head by the Fairmont. So we'll see if we see some ice skating here. We're just doing the touristy stuff downtown here. Please check out the other Chicago live streamers, from all over the city. Follow Malik, the firefighter. He's follow 77 Flavors Chicago. There's plenty of people on different formats that cover all this stuff that you're asking about here. So here we'll let the cars go by here. There we're crossing. Hey, Bachwinkles. They got I think they still got a salad bar there. They kind of stopped it for the pandemic, but I think they got it back open. There's the Prudential 2. There's the Aon. There's the St. Regis. And there's the back of I think the Fairmont's over here. Yeah, how you doing there, Wes? Yeah, Chicago. Hey, I like that. I like those, the funny vlogs there. I like your script there. I don't know how to read it, though, but it looks interesting. It looks like you're spamming there, but yeah, the Bear. We go by Mr. Beef sometimes, the original beef that's on Orleans Street. Of course, that's not the best Italian beef, but it's adequate. It's not as good as Johnny's there in Elmwood Park, but or you can go to Al's Beef there. Or plenty other Italian beef joints, even besides Portillo's. Hey, welcome to Chicago 222 Columbus. This is the Fairmont. And we'll head over by this fire station here. Yeah, different what level. Do you see that, Scott, there? If you missed it there this morning, it's a good thing about YouTube. You could check out the reruns. We were checking out some of the lower and lower levels of Wacker Drive where they tow the cars. And here's the Aqua Genie Gang's building here, the Radisson Blue. See, they're working on Columbus. Here we'll go by this working Chicago Fire Department firehouse here, and we'll try to get across the street here. So they got a memorial. We got to pay our respects to not only the people that fallen in O Block, the people that fallen here for this fire station. Here's the November 22nd here, 1976. I was a little baby here. Walter Retroba, we've shown him before. He paid the ultimate sacrifice. So it's not only police officers, people working for the Chicago Fire Department. People have lost their lives trying to save us. Fairmont looks like they got Christmas decorations up. Maybe we'll check that out later. But here, let's head around here. We'll go down around Lakeshore East here. Hey, Chicago Fire Department. Engine number 13, truck number 6, battalion number 1, EMS 451, scuba team. Fast boat. They got a fast boat here. They got a grill. With some Christmas lights here. We're under the Radisson, the aqua blue here. Look at that. Yeah, what's with this meme with this other person named Joe Rogan that's not Joe Rogan, that's somebody else that passed away? Why do people think that's funny? Somebody explain that to me? Maybe I'm the butt of the joke there. I don't. That comes up often there. Maybe it's the same person that keeps posting that over and over again. I know it's not the Joe Rogan that we all know. It's an older Joe Rogan that has the same name, and people are trying to spoof with similar names here. So Steve, why do you keep posting that? Can you explain it? Is there a reason you're obsessed with, and we don't, we report when people die, is it significant? It's just that he has the same name. You think it's like you're just laughing your ass off or something? It's fine. I'm just trying to understand it. Here's the, this is Chicago. This is called Lakeshore East here. I'll see Jim's World Academy. This is the St. Regis right there. That's the hotel, and that's the housing above. This is the back of the Swiss Hotel. This is the Carbide and Carbon. There's the Aqua. This building looks like the World Trade Center's is the Aon building. There's the Blue Cross Blue Shield. We'll stay up high here. We'll head all the way around. So why do you post that? Why do you post that every time you stream, Steve? Is there some significance to it? I'm trying to understand. Or is it just something you do? It's just something you do for yourself there. And does anybody react to it like they like it? Or they think it's like the best thing since sliced bread? I'm trying to understand why you keep posting that. And it's fine. You can post whatever you want. It's just, I'm trying to understand it here. Here's the St. Regis there. Yeah, so we're, like I say over and over again, I'll say it 50 more times. We're in Chicago. We're south of the Chicago River here. We're in Lakeshore East. We're going to head around to Maggie Daly Park. Eventually we'll get to the ice skating ribbon. Thanks for tuning in here. This is some of the, when I moved to Chicago 27 years ago, none of this, especially this building, was not here. This building was not here. None of these buildings were here. There was a few buildings over there. Most of this was a driving range and a 3-hole putting or golf course. It was land banked. Before that, this was a railroad yard. And hey, you live in Ohio there. That's okay. Thanks for tuning in to your old hometown of Chicago there, Virginia. Appreciate it. Really, Jilly Reed's tuning in there. T-Lime Tea Time. Yeah, the Chicago, Illinois. This is called Lakeshore East. So we're going to head straight up that way. We're going to head towards Grant Park and Millennium Park, which is part of Grant Park, and Maggie Daly Park, which is part of Grant Park, where they got an ice skating ribbon. We filmed it yesterday. We're in Chicago. This is the St. Regis. It's 1,100 feet tall, the tallest portion there. And it's a hotel at the bottom. See how you can drive right through the bottom there, drop up for the hotel. And there's 3 levels underneath it. There's parking. You see how there's a street. You can drive right through the bottom of this to connect with lower Wacker. You can't connect with middle part of Wacker, but you can. This connects with upper part of Wacker. 3 levels to Snack City. And they got some dog parks and things here. There's some dog parks in there. But we got about 42 degrees. It's pretty chilly. It's about the same temperature it was this morning when it was that cold November rain. Hey, welcome to Chicago. Oh, it's meme magic that keeps Joe Rogan alive. Okay, so that's the reason you do it. So since some other person with his name died that was older than him, and I'm sure there's probably a bunch of people named Joe Rogan. It's a pretty common name, just like Adam Smith or something. Well, there you go. At least you got a reason there. Thanks for explaining it to me. I appreciate it. Most of the time when you live stream, you're just confused. Like, people put stuff in the comments. We get the typical stuff like O Block and you're going to get shot and I hate Chicago. We're used to getting stuff like that, but yours stuck out in my mind because some people do try to spoof me where people die that haven't died, but sometimes it really is people passed away. You know, that's why I brought up when Ozzy Osbourne passed away, or other people, Eddie Van Halen. Here's that was years ago though. Here's yeah, they got some Christmas lights down there. They got some lights in the trees there. We got some wind here. Lake Michigan's over here, so Lakeshore East Regatta Condominium, that's what they call this. Most of this is luxury residential or condos. And here we're tooling through Lakeshore East here. Look how the top of the Sears Tower is in, you have to see the top of the Sears Tower. It's in the clouds there, so we got low cloud cover. So the clouds must be higher than 1,100 feet because that's where the Aeon top is. And the clouds must be lower than 1,400 feet because that's where the top of the Sears Tower, or at least the clouds are lower on that side of downtown. Head around, we got some wind. Singapore, how you doing there? Tombot, how you doing there? Yeah, Bob Saget. I know we miss Bob Saget. We all these comedians. Yeah, I know. That's why. Again, you know, it's hard for me to keep track of who's living, who's dead, and when people are, you know, coming up with names of people that have the same name. I'm sure there's somebody else named Ozzy Osbourne that's still alive. Okay, so yeah, Tombot. So okay, so we're thinking about adding some more mods to YouTube, and I want to make sure people that have helped me out by gifting subscriptions, or people that express interest in mod, being part of the mod team. And I have a hard time of finding people on YouTube. YouTube makes it hard for me to search for people's usernames. Some people's usernames on TikTok are different than YouTube. I don't know if Tombot has any desire to be a mod or not. Probably not. I don't expect you to. But if you do, I know someone named Grandma's Corner is expressed. But Grandma's Corner, if you're listening, I think you were on this morning. I cannot find your username on YouTube. I've searched for Grandma's Corner. I've searched for your name. If you want to be a mod, simply reply to one of my try to direct message me on YouTube, or if that doesn't work, just reply to one of my videos, like my reruns from this morning or yesterday, my shorts on TikTok or YouTube, and then I can find your name there, Grandma's Corner, because when I search for it, I don't see you replying to any of my making any comments to my videos you may have. I just can't find it, and I can't find your name. I can't add you as a mod, and I've already discussed you and others with Anita. We're debating who to add. I don't know if TF or anybody else. You know, we talked about this last week. I know people have expressed interest in being a mod, but we got to vet you. We got to make sure you're a real person. And I defer to people that subscribe, actually pay money, you know, and I'm not trying to get you or anybody else. It's just, you know, modding people do it and then they get tired of it, and it's a thankless job, and sometimes the mods have their own agenda, and I am sure, you know, that's why we will see if you work with their whole style here, and Anita can show you the ropes and teach you how to do it. So, you know, I'm not going to do it now, but when I get back, if, you know, you could direct message me or reply to in the chat there, say, hey, I want to be a mod there, and then we'll run you through Anita. We'll reach out to you, and and if we get too many mods, it gets too chaotic. It's really, you know, it's a fine line where we want like a few mods in every chat, but not like more, because then people, it just gets chaotic. We've learned this the hard way. But we do need bouncers, just like if you run a nightclub, you need security. It's not that I'm trying to limit free speech or limit people saying Joe Rogan's name. It's not what we're doing. We're doing it just because people attack people, and sometimes I just get tired of looking at people's comments. It's not that I'm against free speech. It's just, this is my channel, and we run it the way we run it. I think you understand. There, Chicago's home for the holidays here, the Art Institute. So here, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're over here on Randolph here. We walk through Lakeshore East. We're gonna see, look at the top of the Sears Tower there. It's in the clouds. And so here, we'll cross the street here. And we'll head over towards the ice skating ribbon here. Go ahead. Let the car go there. Go ahead. Let the car go there. Oh, one golden newbie in there. You mod for 3 different accounts, so hey, at least you got experience there. Yeah, one golden newbie, and if you want to be part of the mod team there, just send me a message there. I think you already have replied to some of my reruns there, and we'll introduce you to Anita. And yeah, I see you're on TikTok and YouTube there. I think we can trust you. Here's here's the skyline of Chicago. So if you just joined here, yeah, we were here yesterday, but I figured, you know, this is something, at least we know the ice skating ribbon. There might be some people over here. We just went through Lakeshore East here, and look at that. Look at the true skyscraper at the top of the Sears Tower there, the Willis Tower. I call it the Sears Tower there, the name of the company that built it. The top of it, 1,400, over 1,450, or 1,400 feet tall, over 400 meters there. It's scraping the clouds there. Chicago, Illinois, we got 42 degrees. This is Grant Park. This is a sub-park's called Maggie Daly Park, where they have the ice skating ribbon here. Here's the skyline of Chicago. Here we got Tuesday, November the 18th, 2025. And I don't even see anybody ice skating. There was more people yesterday. Maybe they don't even have it. Yeah, there's somebody ice skating. So hey, there is somebody, a few people ice skating here. Here, let's show it from above here before we go down there. There you can see the top of the St. Regis, that blue building there. Aisha, thanks, that's good. You're visiting for Sunday football match. Any clothing recommendations? David, thanks for checking out Chicago. So, Bears games at Soldier Field in November and December, you want to dress warm. You want to dress in layers. You check the weather report. If it's above freezing, like today, where it's even damp, like 42 degrees, above 0 degrees Celsius, like 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, you still want to dress in layers. You still, you know, worst case scenario, you can always take clothes off. When it gets really cold, I've gone to Bears games in December where it's like 10 degrees, 15, 20. Hopefully it won't be that cold in December, but sometimes it is. And Soldier Field is an outdoor stadium like Lambeau Field. You sit outside unless you got a heated luxury box. And you want to wear multiple layers, multiple sweatshirts, gloves, hats, coats, because you're going to be sitting down. You're going to, you know, we've even brought a newspaper where you sit on the newspaper because you're sitting on a hard, cold seat in concrete. And the worst is, like, at halftime, we would go underneath and they would have those air blowers that you could warm your hands up, and we would get all warmed up. And then you have to go back out and sit on that block of ice that is your chair there at Soldier Field. And the second half was even worse than the first, if there's any wind. So, yeah, if you're going to see a Bears game in November or December, always be prepared. Check the weather report. I've gone to the Winter Classic. A friend of mine gave me and my other friend tickets one year for the Winter Classic, where the hockey, the Blackhawks played the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it snowed. It was like a snow globe, and that was before I live streamed. That was like before the pandemic even. We went to a Winter Classic at Soldier Field in January. I think it was like New Year's around that time, and it was cold, but it was like being in a snow globe. So here, let's head down to the ice skating ribbon here, and we'll film it here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. If you just joined, we're at Maggie Daly Park, checking out the ice skating ribbon. It just opened earlier this week, and we checked it out yesterday. We already got reruns on it, but I figured today, since it's cloudy and gloomy and cool, we just head by the ice skating ribbon, then we'll end up in Millennium Park. We got 12:28 in the PM here, after the noon hour lunchtime here in Chicago. Yeah, Grandma's Corner. So Grandma's Corner, I think you expressed interest in being a mod. I have a hard time, I can't, even though I see your name here, when I go to YouTube, I type in Grandma's Corner, I cannot find your handle to add you to the mod team. So Grandma's Corner, if you want to be part of the mod team, and I think we talked about this a week before, sorry it hasn't happened yet, I want to have Anita reach out to you and get you on board here. So if you could just message me, if you could just go to my YouTube there and just go to one of my, either my rerun from right now or this morning or my shorts from yesterday, and just say, hey, it's me, Grandma's Corner there. You know, let me know if you want me to. I think you have some experience modding, as some of the other people expressed interest there, and then we'll get you hooked up with Anita, who runs my mod team for YouTube and TikTok, and we'll introduce you to everybody else there. Thanks, Grandma's Corner. Thanks for being on. I was looking for your name this morning. I had a hard. YouTube. It's much easier to find usernames and message people on TikTok than it is on YouTube. For whatever reason, on YouTube I have a hard time, and other people complained about this. It's hard to direct message people. You notice it's hard to reply people in the comments. I know it's better on TikTok. So TikTok does some things better, YouTube does some things better. We work it out here. But here's the ice skating ribbon here. We'll check it out here. Yeah, gliding to your next adventure there. They got the little igloos over there. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Grandma's Corner. I really appreciate it. Thanks for helping out here. Thanks for being on here. And anybody else too, the same thing there. Yeah, bonsoir. Bonjour. Thanks for tuning in from France there. Maurice. Yeah. There, Anita. Thanks. Yeah, that's who we're talking about there. Grandpa's Garage. Yeah, it's like Joe's Garage. You remember Joe's Garage from Frank Zappa? Who knows Joe's Garage there? Yeah. Oh. Frank Zappa. He was in a movie with the Monkees there. I got to figure out what movie that is. I think the Monkees made a movie when they went all psychedelic, and Frank Zappa's in it. We got to find that. He's with like a cow that talks. I saw a clip on it on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, one of them. But here's the ice skating ribbon. Yeah, here's the people ice skating here. We got Tuesday, November the 18th here, 2025, about 42 degrees. Yeah, we'll keep that skyline in the background. Yeah, Zappa. Any live jazz music dinner recommendations? Oh, yeah, okay. I know of some jazz clubs. There's like Andy's Jazz Club. There's Winter's Jazz. There's, let's see, is there any other? There used to be the Green Dolphin. The Green Dolphin would have been perfect but it closed down years ago. How you doing? Here's the ice skating ribbon here at Maggie Daly. The Green Dolphin was up there on Webster, just by the river, and it was a dinner jazz place, exactly what you're talking about, but it closed down. It didn't recover after the pandemic. And I've been filming the sign because we think that building is going to come down. Anybody remember the Green Dolphin? You can also go to Uptown. You can go to the Green Mill. The Green Mill is probably the most historic true jazz age speakeasy bar in Chicago. The original goes back to Prohibition, but it moved. It was a few addresses north there, Broadway and Lawrence in Uptown. You can go to the Green Mill there, the jazz club. I mean, just go there for the nostalgia. It looks like a 1930s jazz club, even the door, and the sign is the original sign that goes back to 1910s. Green Mill, of course, it stands for the Green Mill, which is based on the Red Mill. What's the Red Mill? In Paris, France, Moulin Rouge. The Red Mill, Chicago's version is called the Green Mill. It goes back to Prohibition. The Green Doors, the minute it was open, the speakeasy open, they sold liquor there. Just like the Green Door Tavern in River North, where they had the speakeasy, the Drifter. Hey, how you doing there? Look at that. That's nice. How you doing? That's great. Very nice. That's good. Nice. Doing some tricks there. That's good. See? People practicing their skills here. Here's the ice skating. There, look at that. Look at that. She's doing the spin out there. How you doing? That's great. Yeah, people ice skating here. Maggie Daly ice skating ribbon here. Yeah, Yeah, she's practicing her skills there. Look at that, she's spinning around. Yeah, look at that. She's practicing. So hey, we'll head across the BP Bridge. We'll end up in Millennium Park. I know we were there yesterday, but I'm just saving energy for later this week. We'll do on Friday night. They're gonna do the official Christmas tree here. I'll show it to you. It's right over there. They're gonna light up the official Christmas tree, and they'll have ice skating. And then Saturday they got the parade for lighting up the Michigan Avenue holiday lights there. And they'll have the parade there on Saturday about 5:30. And there's supposed to be fireworks afterwards, so we'll try to cover that. But hey, people, ice skating here on the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon here. They got hot, you get hot chocolate here. They got places you can put on your skates and get some food and drink here, some concessions. Yeah, bonjour. Yeah, it is cold. It's 42 degrees. So someone's got to have a winter. Someone's got to live in the north. Not everybody can live in Florida and Hawaii and Puerto Rico there. But we'll be in Texas probably for the holidays. We'll see. How you doing? How you doing? That's good. Yeah, they got the video here. Ice skating ribbon here. Maggie Day. These guys will teach you how to skate there. And yeah, you can get, here's your rules and regulations here. Here's the Ring Cafe. See, you can get the little penguin there. You can hold on to it. They got portalettes there, the wee. And here, look at the little minions here. And then get your hot chocolate, get your drinks and your Powerade, and I think they even got food. They got beef hot dog, mozzarella sticks, funnel cake, snacks, beverages, orange juice, hot chocolate. Yeah, there. Explore the season. We can't get out this way, so let's go out this way. But here, yeah, here's the Green Cafe concessions at the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon here. Yeah, we got low 40s. Yeah, we might get up to maybe 50 1 or 2 days later this week, but I think it's going to be pretty cool all this week, which is, you know, normal November. We had the cold November rain this morning. Yeah, you want some mozzarella sticks? How much is the hot chocolate this year? So Mary Therese, I just saw that comment there. I'll go back, and I don't feel like walking back over. Sorry, Mary Therese, I just saw your comment there. I don't know how much the hot chocolate is here. So here's the skate rental. It's $17 for skate, $19 walk up. It's free if you bring your own skates, and it's $5 if you $5 after that if they notice you keep skating with your own skates, I guess. Here, yeah, I know prices are very important. Inflation. Here's your prices here. Hot chocolate $5.35, extra cup 50 cents, cup of ice $3. You know, you're going to be paying tourist prices here because hot dogs $7.95. You notice I don't usually buy anything at these places because as my parents would say, we got food at home. But you know, I guess you can bring your own stuff if you bring it in a thermos. You know, there's nothing stopping you from bringing a picnic, bringing your own food and just eating it there. But yeah, that's the price of concessions. You're going to be paying high city prices because they jack the price up for the tourists, just like the hotels. Someone has a really nice YouTube channel. They tour. There's a husband and wife couple, I assume, different than the British couple. It's a different couple. And they came to Chicago and they said, we were robbed at Chicago. Well, what it was, they got their hotel bill, and that's where they felt like they were robbed when they saw all the hidden fees in their hotel stay, which is typical. You pay the high city taxes for hotels and transit and amusements. It's a bunch of tax. And everything that can be taxed will be taxed, especially in this city. You got to pay for the pension funds for the firefighters and the teachers union. And the police and all the lawsuits. Here's the BP Bridge here. We'll head across here. Oh, you're making lunch for your 1-year-old there. Hey, Naya Papaya there. How you doing there? Yeah, your kid's growing up fast there. Seems like yesterday. We're already past the year mark here. That's great. Yeah, the room service. Yeah, Home Alone. You got it. Fees on everything. Yeah. Nothing guaranteed in life but death and taxes. Who said that? Ben Franklin. Yeah, I watched some of that Revolutionary War. They had the second episode on there for the Ken Burns there. He's doing a whole documentary about the Revolutionary War. It's pretty nice. On Sunday, they were doing Benjamin Franklin, at least on the WTTW here in Chicago, the local PBS. They had a documentary about Ben Franklin's life. I know they had one of the other shows. I think Michael Douglas played Ben Franklin in one of those mini-series they have on the other networks. But, and it was interesting. His son, Benjamin Franklin's son, was a loyalist. He stayed loyal to King George III, even though his father, Ben Franklin, was a founding father and was part of the Constitutional Convention, and risked his life being a diplomat in Europe trying to get funding from France to help win the war. Him and John Adams, they had to go to the Netherlands and France and try to get loans, and that's what helped turn the tide. But here, look at the nice skyline of Loop of Chicago, and there's the Prudential and the Aon there. Edmonton's tuning in there. 4 fried chickens and a Coke. Yeah, Zoom Patrol. That's from the Blues Brothers there when they go to Aretha Franklin there on Maxwell Street there. Yeah, I want 4 fried chickens and a Coke and dry toast. The Blues Brothers. The Blues Brothers. Alvin's tuning in there. Yeah, parts have been changed there. Oh, it's negative 8C in Finland. Thanks for tuning in from Finland there, Pat Schooley. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Finland's part of NATO there. Thanks for helping us hold the line there. Finland shares a border with Russia. Look at that. There's the Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's the Aon and Prudential. Look, they're still working on the... This is the Pritzker Bandshell here. Millennium Park. See, we're just crossing Columbus. There's parking underneath all this. This is all green roof. And remember in the summertime when we sat there and watched the symphony play? Now it's all tore up. It's all tore up. Leaves are gone. But hey, they're setting up for the Christmas tree. We'll head right over to the Bean there. See, there's the Bean there, Millennium Park. We got 1241. And this is working out. So we saw some ice skating. Thanks for tuning in here. So tonight I'm going to leave work early. I started work at 7:30. People have noticed I ended my live early this morning. There was a lot of people watching too. If I would have stayed on another half an hour, we could have had really good numbers. But I went to work. Thanks everybody tuning in this morning and tuning in now. We'll start. I'll try to get out of work around 4:30ish, and so we should by 5 o'clock we should already be well on our way up to Old Town. We're going to go to Old Town. I'm going to try to get to Burton and Wells Street. There's a little plaza there, and they're going to light a Christmas tree. They'll probably have carolers, and Santa might be there. And we stumbled upon it last year. I think I got there after they did the official countdown, but they'll have the lights, and there'll be people there, maybe carolers. And even though it's not even Thanksgiving yet, they're starting to do the holiday stuff. We're starting to check out the zoo lights there at the Lincoln Park Zoo. Kris Kringle Market should be open Thursday, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday for sure. And they're setting it up. They're furiously trying to get everything, all the ornaments in there and stuff. Here's the, see, we'll head over to the Bean there. We'll eventually get to the Bean there in Millennium Park here. Nevada, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. If I missed anybody else, thanks for tuning in. People tuning in from all over the world and all over the United States. That's great. So we'll head through the, yeah, nobody misses the snow. We had some snow on Monday, but it's all gone now. We just got the cold November rain here. It's all a sloppy mess. Got sirens. Here we'll head through the Lurie Gardens here, and here's the modern wing for the Art Institute of Chicago. Yeah, Aisha at Scully there, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin, you remember that? Yeah, we're gonna go check that out again. We're on this wheel. It's like, yeah, I feel like we just did Christmas last year. I remember when we went and saw the countdown for the Christmas tree last year. Now we're going to do it again. We're on the wheel. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Here's the modern wing. Yeah, all the plants are gone here. It was a nice season. Manitowoc, Wisconsin, how you doing there? Yeah, you had the cold November rain there. Guadalupe, how you doing there? Mary Therese, thanks for being on. Jeff, Grandma's Corner, Marianne. Yeah, Mary Therese, we like the snow. I like the snow too. People tune in when we got the snow. And we'll get some more snow. We're just getting started. That was just the first snow of the year. It all came and gone. Had that lake effect. We'll probably get some more. Saw those waves pick up on Lake Michigan. Hey, there's still some leaves on the trees. These trees, these maples, are some of the first to turn green in the spring, and they're some of the last to lose their leaves in the fall. But they do turn a beautiful color. They're just slow to lose their leaves, and that's why they planted them here. They kind of protected here by all these skyscrapers with the hedges. And yeah, not the yellow snow. Yeah, once the dogs get to it, you got to watch out for the yellow snow. That's when it gets all nasty and dirty. Too many dogs pee on it. Yeah. It's not lemonade. But here's the Nichols Bridgeway. You can take that and go right up into the Art Institute. We saw the beautiful fall colors. Let's just check out the Great Bean here. We were here this morning, but I'm a lazy live streamer. It's easy for me to film this. It's close to where I work. I don't have to walk that far for our lunchtime there. We saw some ice skating. Yeah, see, there's that Nichols Bridgeway. You can head right up into the Art Institute. But here, we'll check out the Bean, and then we'll just round it out here. But yeah, we'll go up to Old Town. They're gonna light a tree, and I'll get you in the spirit there. We'll get some content, and then we'll just head on home. It's on the way home. Way homer. Here, the Prudential Building, top of the Trump Tower. Yeah, I'm a lazy live streamer. You know me. Yeah, the reason it's probably an American. A lot of Americans like to make fun of Chicago because of political differences. The president literally bashes our mayor, which, you know, I know you can't call that racist anymore because, you know, we're woke is dead. But it's almost like now it's like the pendulum swing the other way, where people expect people to be racist. You know, I know certainly the president, but. And I didn't say that, you know, I'm just, it's just my opinion. I don't expect people to agree with it here. But people, they say Chicago's not part of America. They'll say we're North Korea or we're China because we're more socialistic, we're more left-leaning. And a lot of big cities are. You saw Seattle just elected a Democratic socialist mayor, I think. New York City just elected a Democratic Socialist mayor, so I'm sure they say the same thing about New York City now, because it's politics. It's people slamming Chicago, and if somebody's bashing Chicago, it's usually an American. But you know, it's like sports team rivalries. They don't like Chicago for various reasons, and that's their right. You know, you don't have to come here. I'm not trying to get anybody to move here, spend money here. And here's the Great Bean of Chicago. Look at it. So you can walk right up here, and we can knock on it here. There I am in the blue coat here. We were here this morning. There is not a man trapped in the Bean. I know. There's a conspiracy theory about that. There, see somebody knock back. Did you hear it? There's the look at the skyline here. You can walk right underneath this thing. Here's the Great Bean of Chicago here. Anish Kapoor, the Cloud Gate. This work of art here. You gotta be careful you don't hit your head. See, you can. Yeah, we'll head around. How you doing there? Yeah, gotta tilt my head here. So, hey, the Great Bean, people taking pictures here. You know, even on a cold, clammy day here, people still take the time to come out here and take a photo by the Bean here. Isn't that nice? It's always, to me, that's the greatest show of how much a public work of art is liked if people still gathered 15 years after it was built, and still when it was under renovation and blocked off, people missed the bean. And you don't see this many people gathered around the Picasso in Daly Plaza. People like the bean here, at least the version we got here in Chicago. Yeah, the Museum of Science and Industry is a great museum. Yeah, thanks for pointing it out there. It's in Hyde Park, Jackson Park. It's on the south side near the lake. Museum of Science and Industry. That building is the last remaining building from the World's Calamity Exposition. The reason it still remains, they built it house the fine art in 1892, 1893. And so they built real walls for fire insurance to house the paintings that were there for the World's Calamity Exposition. But afterwards, they had to completely redo the whole building, and they spent a lot of money redoing the building, the Museum of Science and Industry there. Of course, they got the U-boat, the German U-boat submarine. They got the coal mine. They got the woman sliced. You can see through her body, and they got all the train sets and amazing displays there at the vast, huge Museum of Science and Industry on the south side. We've been on the outside. I've actually been on the inside, but we haven't really taken the time to tour the whole thing. Maybe we'll do that sometime if I can ever make enough money live streaming to do this full time. But I still have a day job here and plan to keep my day job as long as I can. They'll have me. Here's the official Christmas tree here. See, look, they're adding the ornaments there. They're adding the lights there. This is a 68-foot. How you doing? This is a 68-foot spruce here from Glenview, the suburbs of Chicago. The Mason family donated this, and they've been adding the lights there. See, they got the booms there. And yeah, they're doing a good job here. Look at the official Christmas tree. And they're going to light this thing up on Friday. I hope to try to live stream it. Sometimes it's hard to maintain a connection. They'll have a stage here. Usually they'll get really crowded and they'll do a countdown. And I'll try to give you a time before the date there. Here's Millennium Park here. Yeah, I got to go back to work there, G. I got to do the same thing there. Yeah, thanks for flowers to the mods there. Phil Goodyear, thanks to Anita and Mary Therese and everybody there. I really appreciate all my mods. And we might be adding more to the team to help everybody else out, because, you know I probably, I apologize to people that, from moving to TikTok to YouTube. I know probably for both the mods and many people, they prefer to view on TikTok. I would like to stream on TikTok, but I still keep it as a backup. We still do the super chat, the super fans only chat there. But if I'm going to do TikTok, I'm going to do it on my own terms and conditions there. They can do their own terms and conditions. I can also do my own terms and conditions for me to be on their platform. And we got YouTube as an option here. I personally like the reruns. It makes it easier for me. I got an archive. They don't delete the reruns. TikTok deletes the reruns after a month if you don't post them. And all this content has value, as you know, over time. And here, let's see if we can get across Randolph Street here. I don't want to wait for this light. It's a long light. See, I'm jogging to get back to work here. I'm running to get back to work. And we got 26 seconds. We'll make it here. So there's never been a restaurant they built this to have a restaurant. They got an Estaloca shut down. So Estaloca was open for the summer, and they're not going to even try to go through the winter. Isn't that amazing? Here's the Nederlander there. They got the Christmas tree at the 150 North Michigan. There's this nice view to the Wrigley building. Brazil, yeah, I would love to do Brazil. I would love to do Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo and show the graffiti in Sao Paulo and the beautiful Copacabana there at Rio de Janeiro and Brasilia, the master plan community, the state capital of Brasilia, the big wide streets. Here's the, this is the Rainbow Cone. Just north of Millennium Park here, you get your Rainbow Cone here on Michigan Avenue, Auntie Anne Cinnabon there. Yeah, they're making the Cinnabon. They'll make it right here. Yeah, they're pulling it out of the oven there. There's the Cinnabon. Garrett's Popcorn, you can watch it make the Garrett's Popcorn here, right on Michigan Avenue. You can order this online. You don't have to come to Chicago. Hey, look at the nice gingerbread men there. How you doing there? The happy cookies there. Get your lids there. Get your sports paraphernalia. Stan's Donuts. Five Guys. They got the American Writers Museum there. American Writers Museum. It's 180 North Michigan Avenue. And so, yeah, I'm going to end this live early today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be on at 4:30. We'll be on early tonight. I hope to get out of work at 4:30, and then we'll head straight up to Old Town. We'll catch the lighting of the Christmas tree for Old Town. The friends and neighbors there. Maybe Santa will be there, and they had it all set up. They'll have Christmas lights and probably carolers and all kinds of stuff. So we'll look forward to that. And we'll spend some time there tonight, and then we'll just head on home. And then later the week, we got all the parade and the lighting of the Christmas tree and the Kris Kringle Market. And we'll probably get to the Lincoln Park Zoo lights once they open it up later this week. So I'm going to rest up there. Have a good rest of your Tuesday here. Stay warm. And we'll see you after 4:30 tonight on YouTube. Thanks, Anita. Thanks, Mary Therese, and everybody else. And thanks, Grandma's Corner there. I'll look for your message there. And anybody else there, Naya Papaya, Christy M, David, Aisha, Wes, yeah, Anita, Mark, Grandma's Corner, Scott, Wayne, yeah, Smucker Pablo, yeah, talk to you later there. So have a good day. Alvin, thanks for being on. We'll see you tonight there. Yeah, Guadalupe. No, this is Chicago. This is Michigan Avenue. See, look, that's the Wrigley building. That's how you can tell you're in Chicago. You see that building there, the white building? That's Wrigley Gum, your Wrigley Double Mint and Spearmint. Wrigley Field, that's Wrigley Building in Chicago. Thanks for tuning in, Michigan Avenue. Ira, thanks for tuning in. Sabrina, Suburban Garden there. Call me Fett. Jesus there. Yeah, Guadalupe. Okay, we'll see you at Grandma's Corner.